and all of the theater people were like,
Okay.
Also,
Yeah.
I'm confused. What's the concept? You said that the Tin Man is in this?
It's the Wizard of
Are you ready for the greatest entertainment experience to hit your television screens since the WWE?
We're not on television. We're on the internet.
yeah, we're on YouTube. Sorry.
The greatest thing to hit your internet screen since the chipmunk that turned around really fast.
It's the Joystick Show, episode 216, guys. Whoa,
It's him.
It's great. Man, I missed you guys. It's been a whole fucking 7 days since we've been back here at the table. Last week was just Dylan and I for what was one of the more interesting episodes of the podcast.
That was fun.
It was fun. I don't mean it in a bad way.
Yeah,
it was just,
it was interesting. Yeah,
It was chaotic, but in a great way.
Yeah.
And we'll be back to movie game golf at some point. But even saying it now is giving me a little bit of PTSD.
Yeah. It's almost like it was too intense of a segment. Like
Yeah.
it was like that's a whole separate thing.
Can you just let me know in advance when we're gonna do that again, so I can come fully dressed as Tiger Woods in the outfit,
Yeah.
red polo, Nike hat. I'll be ready.
Oh, yeah,
Don't worry.
that's great.
The next time I'm not fucking it up.
Mm.
Welcome back, guys. Last week you guys were busy. What did we say Joey was doing? Joey was like, Jerry was at a rave.
He was at the
Joey
rave.
was doing something else. But point is,
I
they're
don't
back.
remember, I'm sorry.
No,
I was with a different group of friends.
that's
Yeah,
what it was. Yes, he was hanging
yes.
out with fucking
friends that I don't vibe with.
No, he's hanging out with Dominic and Billy and Jimmy.
Someone's got. There's always got to be an abbreviation.
sounds like a cursed
There's got to be like a
friend group.
CJ or an AJ. There's got to be like a BJ.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always got to be a PJ. If you want to know what we're talking about on this episode of the Joystick Show, bam,
Yeah.
right there. Fucking go ahead and like this episode to help us a lot. Go ahead and subscribe. And, just sit tight because it's going to be a cool one. It's going to be a fun one. I'm going to swing it on over to Dill and partially to Joey because they have something to talk about in the realm of a big movie that just recently came out.
Yes.
And I feel like it's, just a phenomenon at this point. So, I guess let's swing it on over to our Witch correspondence for the week, I guess.
Yes. I knew nothing about Wicked. I've never seen the actual play at all. I heard some of the songs, I think, but I got to witness this movie after going through, which I might like to call. I think I am still hungover.
Huh.
This was the first time in my life, Thanksgiving night, where I think I was actually blackout drunk.
Wow.
There's actually a period of time where I do not remember.
What the fuck?
My actions were uncalled for.
What was your spirit of choice?
I don't even remember.
Wow.
To be honest. I think that what happened was I was drinking. I got at Thanksgiving early because I wanted to help. They were like, help us with 2 things and then you're done, right? So I was drinking from early on.
Bless you.
And then apparently I was like everyone left already, right? So I didn't really like embarrass myself, but apparently I was like crying. I was laughing hysterically at one point. I vomited. I went home in a lift. I think I got dropped off in the lift, but then the guy didn't leave, so I think I fell asleep in the lift and the guy couldn't wake me up. But I wouldn't know because I just woke up and it was like 8 a.m. or whatever.
Keep this up. I don't even want to know about Wicked.
Yeah.
Someone's blackout drunk Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so I woke up in the morning. I found out a lot of things I said. Apparently, I started crying because I said that you guys didn't know how to make cornbread and that I was grateful that my fiance can make cornbread.
Joke's on you. I know how to make cornbread.
So we will, so I think that we just all need to spread the love of bread.
When's the cornbread bake-off between me and Marianti? And you're the judge. You decide who has the better cornbread.
And whoever wins, you have to marry.
Yes. So after that, after being super hungover, and then traveling with, and then me and Marianti's day getting derailed because she got like a flat tire, essentially, I went to go see Wicked, which, guys, if you don't know, they turned a Broadway play into 2 separate 3-hour movies. I don't know how they did it.
That is what it is like. That's kind of crazy.
I don't know how, but it doesn't. But after watching this movie, it does not feel drawn out. Obviously, there's these like giant, grandiose scenes of like drone shots, and they're following the birds or whatever, like the griffins. but it doesn't feel like drawn out. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I really thought like a movie like Dune. It's like, okay, we've been on this fucking sand dune for 10 minutes. Can we actually see something in this movie? This was actual like the pace actually kept pretty fast.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't really like have other like opinions other than it was like really impressive. The cast was really good. Like the Wizards, Jeff Goldblum, like it's a pretty good
I'm
cast.
looking up its score on Rotten Tomatoes, but I accidentally typed in Wicker RT, and it just started showing me wicker chairs. So
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Does that get a high rating?
it's at an 89% with critics and 96 with audience.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know shit about Wicked.
Yeah, I'm not a big.
Well, here's a little fun fact, a little fun tidbit for you. 2 people at this table were actually in a 7th grade production of Wicked. Our good friend here, Joseph Ortega, played Bach, aka the Tin Man. And your boy Robert here played the male lead Fierro, aka Scarecrow. And I don't remember shit about that show or the story or anything.
Yeah,
I
but you
don't remember anything?
Nothing,
which is
nothing.
weird that those.
I don't remember the songs.
That it's weird that those people are like the main people in the story because they're in like maybe 20 minutes of the whole movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
not-
it's about
The
the two.
girls.
It's about the girls. Like the whole first part at least.
Elphaba and
It's
Galinda.
all about like the whole movie is about them. Fierro shows up maybe an hour and a half, hour 45.
Maybe
into
they're
the
setting
movie.
some shit up for him in the next movie.
Yeah, Fierro's gonna be like a main guy in the second movie.
Fucking
But I'm
Samuel
saying
L.
in-
Jackson's gonna come out. He's gonna recruit them. He's gonna
I'm
be
just saying
like-
in this
Fierro.
one, it takes like forever. Like they bump into him outside the school, and you're like, oh, there
he is.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, we
he's
found
here.
him.
But it took like.
Is anybody notable playing him, or is it just like?
I don't remember the guy's name.
Chadwick
he's
Chatterton.
He's from a lot of British stuff. He's from he's in Bridgerton, I think.
I have no
Oh,
clue. Wicked
yeah.
cast. Not too. Wicker cast. I can't.
It's
You
the
gotta
Wicker.
I'm gonna guess it's Jonathan Bailey. Oh, Bach is the guy that Ariana Grande supposedly
Yep.
cheated on with. Ooh.
And I want to talk about that too, but
Ooh.
Wicked has been following me my entire life, especially
okay.
especially going into school for theater, being in high school theater and going to school for theater. Wicked is talked about immensely.
Yes.
Wicked is in audition songs for these girls. Wicked is the song that people want to perform at a show. Schools take you to see Wicked because
Yeah.
they promote children going to theater.
Yeah.
And then when I was in college, got tickets to go see Wicked, and I was like, I can't escape this fucking play. This play is gonna follow me for the rest of my life. So I have my gripes with it, but when I saw the movie, part of me was like, I've seen every musical adaptation into a movie. I have to see Wicked. Like, I need to finish it. I haven't seen it, but based off a lot of reviewers that I like watching, they say that it's an amazing adaptation of a musical into movie. The best ones. Beats every single one. Beats Les Mis, beats Little Shop,
Wow.
beats Rent, beats every single one. They're saying this is probably the best one.
And almost as someone who like didn't watch, I knew about it, but I never saw it in like an inch of the theater performance. There's so much that like you can't portray with people on a stage. Like the play is super high fantasy, especially the movie version. It's like very like almost like Tim Burton-esque. Like it's very like that explosive of like we're not on Earth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like the fact that they were able to play, it was like seen as like that really big like transformative musical is interesting because I'm watching the movie and I'm like,
She's actually flying.
like how did they do any of it? Like how did they portray? Like I'm interested to see the play now because I'm like how did they?
That's the fun thing about Broadway. Because look, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm saying this as someone who grew up, kind of involved with people who love musical theater. The love of my life is like an actress who does stage theater. I have no love for that at all. It kind of bores me. I'm being honest. That's fair. But I'm a movie guy. I need the whole shebang.
I mean, that's the very me and
That's my
it's the
spiel.
same thing too.
But that
like,
being said, every single time I've gone and I've seen a professional Broadway play, not only has it always been incredible, because it has to be to fucking be on Broadway in the first place, but when they do stuff like that, it's always way more well done than you think it's going to be. Like, the people behind the effects and all that stuff, they're professionals. Like, they know what the fuck they're doing. So what I will say is I haven't seen Wicked on Broadway, but I have seen videos of it and performances, and it's fucking awesome. So I can only imagine that the movie makes it way more believable and way more like immersive, but you still can't. I don't want to discredit the people who make it look as good as it does on stage, because it looks dope. So.
Last thing I want to say about Wicked coming from me is I'm surprised that they split the movie into 2 parts. Like, this movie ends how Act 1 ends.
Yeah, I don't like how I don't like that people are doing that with movies now. Just
I'm like,
make
bro,
the
like,
movie.
But another thing, people are saying that when this sequel, aka Part 2, comes out, it's gonna flop, because I personally think Wicked's first act is very good pacing. Wicked's second act gets a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, the pacing on this movie was very good. For like a 3 hour, like not 3 hours, it's a little less than 3 hours. For an almost 3 hour movie, the pacing is very, very good for this. I just, not to spoil it, but it literally ends on like an explosion. It goes, to be continued, like that. It's like, it's the most tacky shit where I'm like, why are we like everyone was clapping, like crying in the fucking movie.
I'm dead.
Because it ends with like a few big, like kind of big, like musical numbers and moments, right?
Yeah.
Starts flying.
Yeah, like crazy shit. And then it ends and everyone's like clapping, and I'm like, they literally ended on like a horrible CGI effect, and then it comes up in like word art, to be continued. Like,
I'm imagining Peter Griffin from Failing.
I'm imagining fucking Clippy, the word popping up on screen. Like, do you need help with that?
like it was like the Shrek font, like to be like that green, like
It had Shrek
it
ears
was
too.
like tree. Yeah, it was like had trees. I'm like, whatever.
That's whack.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm crazy. Like, a lot of people were saying that this movie was gonna fail. You know, first off, because it's a musical movie and they don't usually do well. The scandal between Ariana Grande and that other actor, Ethan Slater, who I saw in SpongeBob, and everyone was like, bro, she's fucking SpongeBob. There was that scandal, and then the Barbie dolls that were licensed by Wicked, if you looked up the barcode, it was like, go to w.wicked.com and you see more things. It led to a BDSM site. And everyone was like, what is going on with this
at all.
Me
Oh my
neither.
God.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, the Barbie dolls, they all had like whichever Barbie Wicked doll you got in the back, like for more information, like the websites and QR codes that no one clicks on. Someone found out. I went to the website on the back of this doll, and it leads to this site.
It does not lead. To
It
the
does
Wicked
not lead
website.
to the Wicked Barbie doll
Oh my
website.
God.
Crazy.
Sheesh.
Interesting. Well,
Wow.
shout outs to Wicked.
Yeah, I mean like 8.5.
I'm eventually gonna watch it.
I'm eventually
I
gonna watch
have
it, too.
to.
8.5?
It's not something I can really avoid
Oh,
at this
man.
point, but I do want to watch it, so can't wait to give it my own 2 cents. Obviously not here because I've done that already, and but maybe when part 2 comes out, I'll take over.
We'll have a
Like,
full review of part
yeah.
2.
Jerry will be like, guys, I have to say
It's a little annoying.
it
'cause
changed my
I
life.
randomly decided
Did
to watch
anyone
this.
sing in your theater?
Not at all.
Okay, good.
People only cried. No one really.
Because I heard on the radio that it's like close to 50% people are fighting and arguing because they're singing in theaters.
No one sang in my theater.
Okay, good.
Everyone. Also, my theater was also like a lot of like families. It was some older people.
Okay.
It wasn't like we were in Kew Gardens. It was about older Jewish people. It wasn't
So
people-
no one was gonna sing
Yeah,
there.
and all of the theater people were like.
Okay.
Also,
Yeah.
I'm confused. What's the concept? You said that the Tin Man is in this?
It's the Wizard of
It's
Pre-Wizard of Oz.
You know the Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
It's basically like the story of the villain, the Wicked Witch of the West, but it's like a different take, like what made her go down the route to.
it's
become
like
wicked.
almost her side almost.
Yeah.
Think of
Okay.
it. Especially the movie. It's very much like
It's supposed
what
to
is she
be-
going through? You know.
Okay.
You see like her story and like everything she had to go through to become evil or whatever.
Or evil in the eyes of
I
Oz.
see.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah, 'cause
basically
she's not even evil.
Because
you
she's
know?
not even a bad
The
guy.
Wizard of Oz is the good witch's story. Wicked is the story told from the perspective of the Green Witch, and which is the
I haven't
true
watched
story.
The Wizard of Oz either.
Yeah,
There's just some weird ass shit you
It's
about to go
alright,
down
man.
through.
You should actually watch the Wizard of Oz porn parody that has original music that I discovered this week.
Oh, that's incredible.
It's one of the worst, best things I've ever seen in my life.
I mean,
I didn't watch all of it. You know, I'm a good Christian.
The way
boy,
you
but-
talked about it, you were coming in with the review. You know,
No,
like that's
no,
the
I
way.
was ready to
hear
Yeah,
it.
he was like,
If
"All
I
right,
would have
part one."
watched all of it, then yes, I would have gotten into it. But I wasn't.
But even like your wording, you got much more eloquent when talking about the
what I
Wizard
did
of Oz
find
porn.
interesting is what they kept true is the beginning of the film opens with. It's like a sepia tone, you know, the
Yeah.
rural Dust Bowl, Kansas kind of era. You know, Dorothy's there. She sings a whole original song, flicks the bean real quick, and then I guess that's what sends her to Oz, like just a really passionate
Middle
orgasm, and then it goes to like the Technicolor, and I was like, oh shit, they really like nailed that cinematography of the first movie. But after that, it's really just porn. But you know, it's still it was cool.
That beginning, you win with the beginning, honestly.
No, the beginning's the best part. After that, it lost me. I was like, it's just fucking. Who wants to watch this?
You.
Everyone. So anyway, I've also been watching something. That's a bad segue. But I have been watching something in terms of entertainment, and that is
yes.
I was gonna say wrestling, but then that's misleading because I don't really watch wrestling. I'm not into wrestling. You know. What I am into though is salaciously scandalous documentaries that I can get behind. And Joey just started one that I've been meaning to get to since like the summer when I got back from my cruise, but just never got around to. And as soon as Joey said it, I was like, you know what? I'll give it an episode to talk a little bit about it tomorrow on the podcast. And then I binged 3 episodes in a row in typical fashion. But point is, talking about the Mr. McMahon documentary on Netflix, shit is dope. It's really well made. Right off the bat, one thing I wanted to note that I didn't know about the documentary, I did know the whole kind of scandal that dropped with Vince McMahon sort of recently, like last year, where there was all these allegations of everything from sexual harassment to misconduct, with him making settlements and then of course selling the WWE and then just like retiring and kind of like leaving. What I didn't know is that this documentary was actually being made 3 years prior. So everybody's testimonies in the documentary are basically, you know, their perspectives of Vince from before everything was made public. So it's very interesting to see who talks, what I will say, you know, legitimately about Vince and who's just talking kind of to seem nice or cool or whatever, right? So that's kind of cool about it in the first sense. But one thing I want to note is, as somebody who is not into wrestling, we've talked about it on the podcast at least 3 times before, right? It was definitely a weird experience for me growing up because everyone I fucking knew was into wrestling.
A lot of kids, especially when we grew up.
They either
a lot
had
of kids.
an action figure or a video game, or they watched it, a poster,
I had
whatever.
I had a friend in Broad Channel who he literally would put multiple beds together, fucking just the things.
Yeah.
Wait, he made a whole ring in his
tables,
room?
ladders, chairs.
Everyone had like a persona. I was like, this is too much for me. I had to back out.
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to body slam someone or get fucking chokehold, you know?
But
no Diddy, but
it was weird for me growing up because I was like, why is it that I'm not into this shit? Because I just straight up wasn't. I didn't find it entertaining. I was like, you know, whatever. I can't get into it. And then in watching this documentary, a big light bulb went on. And that was, if we had been growing up in the 70s and 80s at the dawn of the WWF, we would have all been fucking wrestling fans. It would have been the only thing if we had a podcast in the 70s, it would have been a wrestling podcast because this shit was the most ridiculous form of entertainment on television.
it was entertainment.
And we missed out.
Yeah.
We missed out. Like, it was like the amount of celebrities and exhibitions that were going on at this time. It was like, what the like, you think WWE is crazy now? Like, they had everybody back then.
Cyndi Lauper was
Bro,
like
our
a manager.
president was on there.
I want to talk about that for a second, but give me a moment. But just that's a weird thing too, where like, you know, like Joey mentioned, there's a whole promotion where Cyndi Lauper kind of did this whole crossover between WWF and MTV, and that was a big thing for them. But then you also had like this one thing where like Muhammad Ali is the referee or the timekeeper for a match. It's like, what the fuck? My favorite one is where they were like, how are we gonna up the ante from WrestleMania 2 to WrestleMania 3? And then it like cuts to Vince McMahon and he's like, well, you know, at that point, wrestling was really becoming the crossroads of you know, sports entertainment and mass media culture. So you were getting just everybody involved. And then it cuts to footage of Vince McMahon opening WrestleMania 3, and he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin." And it just cuts to Aretha Franklin in a pink suit at a piano singing like a soft ballad about America. And I'm like, we missed the fuck out of it. Like, that was the best time. Oh man,
It was like a Super Bowl every week.
and what Jerry brought up
Low-key.
also about the presidential thing. The documentary talks a lot about how Vince McMahon was a very smart businessman in the sense that he kind of like took a lot of stuff that was going on in the world, in the news, a lot of the geopolitical conflicts, and taking those stories and putting them directly into WWF storylines.
Oh, of course.
So that, you know,
the amount of fucking war veteran shit.
Yeah,
the amount of
like we'll take
Sergeant Slaughter.
We'll take Sergeant Slaughter, making him Iranian defector, and now everyone in America hates this guy, and now people are tuning in to watch like Hulk Hogan, the American hero, take down this American guy who's pretending to be Iranian, right? But fucking, so there's a lot of talks about that, and there's references to a lot of other presidents, but I couldn't help notice at one point, there's like a part where Hulk Hogan like slams like Andre the Giant. They're down, and he points out, and who does he point to but fucking Donald Trump? And he's just there, like, you know, doing the little thing. He looks just the same, just a little bit younger. You know what I mean? And then it dawned on me, obviously it's the fact that he's a fucking celebrity, but it really feels like Donald Trump is just like this time traveler who's been around forever. Like you just go back in footage and you see him,
and he's there,
and it's like
what the hell?
And I hate to say it,
It's very. I mean, I think it's very underrated about the election. I think, to be completely honest, is that who fucking votes? People who've been growing up with Trump. Yeah.
And I hate to say it because I really am saying this as someone who, number one, didn't really vote for the guy. Number two, doesn't really give a fuck at this point.
Yeah.
But I do see him, and I relate him directly to being the president. So like I see him back in that clip of him being pointed to, and I'm like, oh, it's the president. And then my brain is like, it's Donald Trump. You know what I mean? It's like this whole thing where now I see him in Home Alone 2, and I'm like, oh, it's the president. Oh, it's fucking Donald Trump. It's like I can't.
Yeah.
I gotta go watch The Apprentice. I think that'll wash the taste out of my mouth. But
I think Bobby. I think that would probably not be good.
You think I come out?
No, Bobby.
Guys, this is why I love Donald
Bobby,
Trump.
yes, it's reality TV, Bobby. You'd get sucked right in. You'd be like, oh my god. You'd be like, you'd fire us, bro. You'd be alone on the podcast.
By myself, like, The Apprentice is the greatest fucking show I've ever seen. And then I go over on that side, and I'm like, yes, obviously.
It's great.
You have a red tie T-shirt on.
Yeah.
Now, my favorite Trump impression is Zach's. Turn the lights off. Hello, little guy.
Fucking this guy's is good. What's his name? Shane Gillis.
Oh, Gillis is
Shane Gillis,
the impression.
Trump impression.
It's all incredible.
It's all in the hands.
The last thing I'll mention about this documentary is like kind of what I mentioned before is say what you want about Vince McMahon. Definitely kind of scummy. He's definitely been.
Yo, he's scummy.
A lot of allegations towards him. Fucking smart guy. He knew what he was doing, you know, from like conglomerating all those little mini federations into one, whether the other people liked it or not, and then like progressing it forward. Like I'm only into like 3 episodes, so I'm excited to see where it goes further. But like one thing I'm kind of enjoying about it too is that it talks about like the kind of the history of professional wrestling, or at least more specifically, you know, the World Wrestling Federation. But it goes in this, you know, chronological storyline where you could kind of like see who's coming up next. It's like, okay, the Hulk Hogan era is over, the Randy Savage era is over. We know like The Rock is on, you know, coming. The Stone Cold era is coming in pretty soon. So that's pretty fun too. I like to see.
It's like let's just up and it like I want to go back and watch it from the beginning now because it's like I know that the edge level, you know.
Yeah.
It's because they were just trying. It was the late '90s. They were just trying to out edge each other.
Well, that's where I am now. So that's why I'm excited. Like
so it's gonna get
NWO,
crazier. It's like, oh, what are they just gonna? Like,
Exactly.
We need explosives. We need a guy jumping 80 feet from the.
We need pyro.
Were you into wrestling?
I was
yet?
like I said, I was huge. Like I said, I knew people that were way more into it than me.
Yeah.
But there was like a 2 or 3 year period where I was huge into it. I would say like
my era is the suck it era.
Yeah. I would say 04 to 08.
Yeah,
Maybe
that was
07. I owned all the games in that period too, and then after that, I fell out of it.
I was into it only like a little bit. Like Andy was more into it with my like older cousins, but I just like played the games. We had like a handbook that had all the wrestlers in it.
I had that
shit like that.
Nothing. I had cousins who were into it, but I knew nothing.
Yeah,
you know what?
A lot of my friends had the ring with the extra figures.
I never had figures because I feel like I was too old for that. So I was like, I'm done with the toys. I'll play the games. But I fell off wrestling when I found out it was fake. As dumb as that was, it was like, oh, it's not real. It's a performance. And I was like, oh, that sucks. And then I tuned in for another wrestling, and then I was like, why am I watching this if like this is fake?
One thing to end on I thought was cool is there's a moment in the documentary, I believe it's Hulk Hogan who says the quote, but he kind of speaks to that whole whole like fucking is wrestling real?
Yeah,
this
the
whole like, controversial
thing.
thing. And I like how he's like, is wrestling real? Yes, it's predetermined and it's exhibitional, but it's real. And I'm like,
That's
yeah,
nice.
that's the best way to say it. You know,
it's like just because it's a predetermined outcome doesn't mean like
that these people
you're
are
not
freaks of
jumping.
nature,
Yeah.
throwing themselves around the ring,
Yeah,
lifting
word.
300-pound men.
You know,
It's
and I
just-
think that makes it,
It's an art.
To be fair, it makes it more impressive.
yeah. And one thing,
there is a team of writers, there's a director, there's a
It's
brand
a
manager.
theater. It's live theater at that point.
and one thing that I really do love about wrestling is it's one of those industries that you can tell everybody involved, from the wrestlers to the people behind the scenes, they are passionate about it. Like, they care about it.
Of course.
You can't be like, you can't have half a foot out if you're going to work in wrestling, because you need to be a part of the experience.
It's
Like,
very much cult following,
Yeah.
very diehard fan base.
Exactly. But yeah, shout outs to wrestling. But I'm not shouting out Vince McMahon because he's a bad guy. I'll shout out Triple H because he's kind of cool.
You know
Unless
who
something comes out again.
You know who I
I'll
want to
redact
shout
that
out? Who's a
later.
pretty good guy? R.I.P. Juice WRLD.
Was a good guy.
Yeah.
Because he's not around anymore.
Yeah, man. But we did something not together, but
Yeah.
you experienced something.
Yeah.
It was the Juice WRLD concert in Fortnite.
Let me ask you this real quick before we get into this, Joe. If you were to rate that from a 1 to 10, what would you give it?
Not high, if that's what you're
Yeah,
asking.
no, that was whack. I'm
Yeah.
going to be honest.
I don't think it was whack. I think I'd give it a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10.
No, it's like a 4 out of 10 for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
But I
you were
think
not-
you're also coming from, I think Joey actually likes his music a little bit.
Yeah.
That was part of it too.
Yeah, I think
but
that might be it.
like the thing is the 4 performers were in order: Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Ice Spice, and Juice WRLD.
Everyone.
That's a
And
that's better than most tours.
no,
you
it's
know?
not a bad lineup.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I think
yeah.
what upset me was like Snoop Dogg did "Drop It Like It's Hot." That was the first song. That was cool. I was actually kind of like, oh, okay, shit, let's go. And then he did like a newer song after that I didn't recognize, but I was like, okay. And then the 2 Eminem songs I didn't even really like. He did the one with Rihanna, "I'm Friends with the Monster." I was
Oh
like,
my God,
and
that's
don't get me
why-
wrong, I know it's Fortnite. You can't go on
That's
the
why they
fucking
call it window
rapping
pane.
about killing Kim and shit like this. But fucking, it was just the song choice. I think was another thing for me where I was like, I think oddly enough, you know who was the hypest for me? I'm not gonna lie, I liked Ice Spice. I thought it was pretty cool.
I liked Ice Spice.
I was involved.
I like that it made it look like New York.
I
When I
was-
was like, oh shit.
I thought it was funny because Joey played it, so you'll note it. But when they do these Fortnite performances, they
Yeah.
usually take the performer and make them larger than life, so like the size of the map, So they have like Snoop Dogg rapping in space, and there's a part where like Eminem fights Mecha Eminem, like this whole stupid thing. But when Ice Spice's part starts, she's like the size of a regular player, like she's just in front of you, and you're supposed to like follow her. That's like the thing. But as I was like going through it, I was like, are they not gonna make her big because of the whole like ass thing? And then sure enough, she just becomes huge, turns around, and I have Ninja's chat open too, and the whole thing is yeah. And I'm like, oh my god, they knew what they were doing, but
Yeah,
They
yeah,
knew.
yeah. They were waiting.
yeah, it was cool. If I'm being honest, the Juice WRLD music video after that was the sickest part.
That's
of
the
that whole
sickest part of the event.
Yeah.
So after the event, they had that concert. Everyone did 2 songs, so it also kind of felt short. But after the event, they were saying, and now push X for a secret, like basically a secret music video that we've been working on for his new song. To which I think the new song's not that bad. Like I thought it was pretty good.
No, it is good. It's not my cup of tea, but it is. It's well made.
And they have a music video all done in a style of like an animated Fortnite video. And it's like really well done.
It
And
is very
I
well
was
done.
telling my sister, I'm like, don't touch him anymore. Like, let's keep that music video be the last thing that's with Juice WRLD's name on it.
And what I will say is, at first I was definitely like I don't know how the afterlife works, but if it works how I'd like to think it does, like I can only imagine what Juice WRLD is thinking. Like like what the hell? Like I'm in Fortnite, But at the end of it, I think it really did end up being a touching tribute. It was very well done. It was really nicely handled. But the music video was fucking sick. It was like edited in a kind of like a frame rate to emanate kind of like the new Spider-Verse style, as I like to call it. But it just looked very new and fresh, and it was a cool way to send the guy off. So
it was really
for
cool.
that reason, I thought it was cool. But other than that, like I think Fortnite has done other events that felt cooler and more immersive.
The one that's still regarded is the Travis Scott event.
Yeah, I think that's funny too because I don't know if you noticed it, but like first of all, Travis Scott is like canceled in Fortnite after the whole Astro World fiasco. They like took his skin out and everything, but he's the guy who's featured in that Ice Spice song. So there's like a part in the event where like Travis is supposed to rap her part or his part in the song, and when it does, Ice Spice disappears, and instead of bringing like a Travis Scott character model, which we all know they have plenty of, it's just like a little static it looks like the 100 Melee Man people. Just like it's like a placeholder person, and everybody in Ninja's chat is like, "Come on,
Bro, you could have put Travis there.
That's
But,
funny.
Yeah, it's cool, I guess. I ended up downloading Fortnite last second because I was like, let me fucking see it for myself.
Now you're gonna fucking delete it.
Immediately.
You
Marvel Rivals is coming out in like 5 days. That's what I'm
true.
Gonna be, so.
We're about to.
That's gonna be my third-person shooter.
We're about
experience
to
for the next couple.
Overwatch it.
And speaking of video games,
Is that free too? Or is it like a paid?
Yeah, it's,
Cool.
It's free.
Yay!
Wait, so is it like
$5
is it like
every
an MMO
character.
or is it like single player? Like what is it?
Marvel Rivals?
Yeah.
It's
Overwatch.
Overwatch.
It's Overwatch,
66
yeah.
point. It's literally Overwatch.
Oh.
Overwatch, but with heroes.
It's third-person Overwatch 6v6. Most of the heroes are like reskin for the
Yeah.
most
I
part.
feel like people are gonna be shit at it, so it's gonna be good.
But what I
I
actually
feel like
think
everyone's
is,
gonna. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What I actually think is really cool is apparently they're making all the characters free on launch, so you
Oh,
don't even have
shit.
to like. It's not going to be like a multiversus situation or anything. So that's fucking.
That's sick. I appreciate that a lot.
I'll try it for like a week or so.
Yeah,
You
where
know, why
The
not?
the one character I'm interested in playing is Punisher. He's kind of like Soldier from Overwatch, but he has a shotgun and a grapple. So
I was actually
That's
interested to
cool.
hear who you guys want to play.
yeah.
Yeah, because the
Punisher?
maps are like more vertical, right?
Some are. It's one of those things where like it's map dependent. From what I remember of watching the beta, I forgot who like Spider-Man is supposed to be. I know Black Panther's very Genji like and how he
Yeah.
plays.
Isn't
and
Spider-Man
stuff.
Tracer?
No, Star-Lord.
I'm
is
already
Tracer.
Tracer.
Jerry is Tracer. But what I did want to talk about in gaming was my platinum queue because I've got some games lined up.
Ooh.
And this is actually why I wanted to mention it. I was really excited to play games like Dave the Diver. I just platinumed Lego Marvel Superheroes. It was actually pretty fun.
I mean, you did a lot of the Far Cry games, which I know I want to do in my heart. Like, especially if I have Far Cry 3 and I love that game, but I can't.
So that's where I'm
Take
headed,
myself
right?
to do
First
it.
of all, I will say if you're gonna platinum any Far Cry game, 3 it has no online shit. No.
I played it on
multiplayer.
360 and I never played it on.
You can.
the Sony,
You don't
so.
have to deal with it. 4 is not too bad, and 5, they're not bad. You just have to grind
Yeah.
stupid shit.
Mhm.
If you ever need my help, I'll be there. But point is, it's actually funny that you mention the Far Cry games because the next game that I'm platinuming is Far Cry 6.
Okay.
Decided to jump right into it. I initially wasn't. I initially was going to give it a nice little break and be like, I'm tired of this shit. Need a break. But found out something kind of stupid about Far Cry 6.
Oh shit.
It doesn't really have any like multiplayer trophies. It has online trophies, but in the sense that you have to play like created maps and stuff like that.
Okay.
You don't really need like other people. It's not like the other games
Okay.
where it's more dependent on that. However, it has this one stupid trophy. I think I told you about it, where you have to kill insurgency leaders, which are basically like after you beat the game, instead of the regions being liberated, they'll like unliberate a region and then put like a leader there. Then you got to do some bullshit side missions.
That's from Ghost Recon.
Yeah,
They
and then after
literally just took something
and then
from a
after you
different
beat
game.
all the missions, you could kill the insurgency leader. So there's a trophy to kill 3 of them, which sounds simple enough, and for the most part it is. But the bullshit part is that it's a timed event, and you only get one insurgency leader a week.
Yeah.
So
It's gonna take you
at the
3 weeks to
least, I
platinum
have
this.
to take 2 weeks to platinum this game. 2 weeks and change to beat it, and then do the
Yeah.
first one, wait a week, and then wait another week.
Oh, so it's like you wait a week and then they're like, oh, they took over this region.
Exactly.
Yep.
So the plan is to do 95% of platinuming Far Cry 6 within the next few days. And then in the weeks that it takes these insurgency leaders to come out, I'll be platinuming Dave the Diver and Lego Avengers. So that's the platinum queue for the next 3. But I'm very excited to get to Dave the Diver. It looks sick. It looks super fun.
Good game.
I don't know if it looks as cool as Inscription, because that seems to be the fucking.
Yeah, that game is great.
haven't
I
played
love
it in
a
few
card
days,
game.
but yes.
Yeah.
I'll try out Dave Diver afterwards.
Yeah.
You guys
For
are
sure.
talking about this game so much. I've been playing
Right.
Squirrel with a gun.
I want to play that too. It looks
You
cool.
play as a squirrel with a gun.
Looks like a fun platinum. I want to play that.
It plays like you ever played Goat Simulator?
I haven't. I want to play that too.
I haven't played Goat Simulator, but it feels like Goat Simulator, but you have
I
a
like
gun.
and the stupidity and like.
But there's
how
like puzzles
mechanics.
and like fights with a gun. There's Goat Simulator, you just use your head.
Yeah.
Ah,
And
interesting.
and to round out this gaming conversation,
Yes.
damn Jerry, how about that Apex grind today? We were really,
Yeah, word.
what? We never talk
That's
about
a
it, but damn,
productive
we
grind.
were some sweaty grinders today.
Yeah,
I went
word.
from gold 2 to like plat 3 or something.
Oh,
like that.
shit.
It was crazy. Me, Jerry, and Jose were just like,
A word.
and not for nothing, those were like hard lobbies too. We were like,
Yeah, those were fun
fighting
games.
for the end, and we were playing some great games. Like the synergy was on point.
Yeah,
That's wild.
I
we
wanna
didn't get
say-
any prez. It was lucky.
Extra shout outs to my Gibraltar. It feels more useful. I like it. But and that's how I'll round out the gaming portion of that. So yeah. Sounds cool.
That's dope.
All right. Anybody have last wishes before we get into the last dishes? So to
I
speak?
wish for 3 more wishes.
Can't do that.
Damn.
Not allowed to do that.
I wish I can wish for 3 more wishes.
But then that's your
I
wish.
feel like the genie would just kick you out at that point.
I get the
Like, you know
fuck
what?
out of
You're
here.
done. Yeah.
There's how many other people in the world? Yeah.
Get somebody else to rub me. All right. Fucking, let's go. Stop it. Stop
No
it.
Diddy.
You're older than that. One of these weeks we have to talk about that too. I'm not gonna lie. I have some opinions about the whole P Diddy scandal, but I'm oiling them up right now. They're not fully lubed.
Opinion.
You're right. It makes it sound like like he's like, wait.
Oh, no,
everyone's
no.
saying Diddy's a bad guy. I think there's
It's like
other
next week,
opinions.
guys. We're talking about R. Kelly. I think he's underrated. I think we're not looking at some stuff.
First of all,
Hitler, man, like
That's
First
funny.
of all, you take away the weird pedophilia stuff, and R. Kelly is slightly underrated. Yes. Second, I am not a P Diddy defender. If you want to know my quick 2 cents about it, not to go into full traction about it, I am very conspiratorial about how this links to the Jeffrey Epstein case and how they're using this as a cover up for that.
like a scapegoat.
That's what I'm. Yes, that's my opinions on that. As far as P Diddy goes, I genuinely believe him to be a real life supervillain, especially if the Jamie Foxx shit is true. But otherwise than that, fucking stay out of my. And if he sees this, I love you, P Diddy. You're my favorite person ever. Please don't have me killed. Tupac was cool. Jam Yam Bam Slam.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My jam is by P Diddy.
Ooh,
It's-
my bam is "Hey Now" by Kendrick Lamar.
Hey,
That's a good song.
that was a good song.
You're a rock
Easy.
star.
Easy.
You're gonna have to come back to me on this one because I really have to think about
my
this.
phone is actually no. I'm gonna go back to what I've been listening to the last few weeks. I've been really going into touching my core, and that with the Divorced Dad Rock.
Nice.
I'm going.
I meant to tell you, my dad cashed in Yacht Rock for Divorced Dad Rock. A lot of Disturbed and Creed playing these days.
Oh, that's
in
great.
the household.
That's amazing. However, I would like to pick "Hanging by a Moment" by.
I'm hanging by a moment. Oh yes.
Yes, that's a great
What
one.
a
And then
jam.
they became a top 40 band. It kind of sucked. It was like, no, this is Lifehouse.
No, that's a great song. That's a great song. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, no, great.
My slam is gonna go to the new Juice WRLD song "Empty Out Your Pockets." I gotta really listen to it because I think I paid more attention to the music video and I was just vibing the entire time.
Yeah.
But I want to give it another really good listen to it because I did enjoy it.
Fuck.
I heard this is his last album.
Yeah, it
For
should
sure,
be.
for sure.
I don't want it to continue.
Yeah.
Does he have like that much more music backed up, or?
Probably.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know. They're just
Gotcha.
AIing his
not.
voice at this point.
I will say real quick. Speaking of the Yacht Rock, Dylan sent me a video of a guy who turned what was it? Teenage Dirtbag by Wheatus into a
Yes.
Yacht Rock song, and I promise
What?
you, if that had a Spotify link, it
was
would it
amazing.
would be jam
It's
of the
so
week
good.
because I've gone onto YouTube multiple times to listen to that song. Speaking of YouTube, there's another song I've been listening to a lot by Devin again, but it's in a live performance, and the recorded version doesn't hit that hard. So what I'm saying is, music was hard for me this week, right?
Damn.
There was one song I was kind of thinking of picking, but it was more memey because it's just like an EDM remix of Stadium Rave from SpongeBob. But I landed on one, and it's a little out of my wheelhouse, but I'm sorry, guys. She got to me. I'm going to go with Nonsense by Sabrina Carpenter. That girl knows how to make a song, a catchy tune. I'll say that. She's got a Christmas special coming up that I'm oddly excited
I like
to check
how, I don't
out.
know how this podcast turned into Team Chaperone versus Team
Carpenter, but, you know,
Chaperone, yeah.
I haven't listened to
picked my
any
side.
Chaperone. I have to...
Chaperone fucking slaps.
She's
I gotta
she's
listen to
queer,
these
right? That's like her
people.
whole thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a cool. We did a podcast. Great.
Oh,
Sounds good.
Yep.
That's how it be.
If you want to help support Team Joystick, which is us, go ahead and like this episode of the Joystick Show, the Joystick Show, and subscribe because it'd make us feel good and it would make us feel happy. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. What was your favorite dish you had at Thanksgiving? Mine was probably my grandmother's rice, which seems to be my favorite dish that I have anytime she makes it.
Yes.
So that's always a
What was
slapperoni.
What was mine?
I just like mac and cheese, man.
I like Bernie.
There was no mac and cheese this Thanksgiving. I was sad.
Sucks.
I know it was rough.
Yeah.
But
And yours is cornbread, right?
Based on how my
Emotion.
based on what my brain decided to do, then yes.
Your
Or
Blackout Friday.
yes, exactly. But I would probably say that or mac and cheese, pastillo.
Oh, look
Look
at
at
you.
you.
Thanksgiving. So, well, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. We love you. And what would be a good way to end this episode of the Joystick Show?
We invite Ice Spice.
People's elbow. I tried, man.
Oh shit! He's coming in through the chokehold.
Oh.